Afternoon. Afternoon, folks. Hope you are well. Who's in the room? Rohan, how you doing? Alan, who else is here? See you next. Hawk. Probably saying that wrong. Good to see you. You're new. Excuse me, sorry. Typical. Ashutosh. Good to see you. Sorry if I'm pronouncing your names wrong. Ian, how you doing, mate? That's an easy one. Just had a lateral flow COVID test. Oh, yeah, you'd see. Oh, that's horrible. Looks like Ryan was right on the NZDC swish, though, so that's brightened me up. Yeah, it's coming back down. I didn't actually get into that trade. It didn't set up. You know, I did have a push up yesterday on a slight, which I thought was breaking out. I'll go through it on stream, and now it's coming back off. And that's, again, this is my personal view, but that's, again, one of the reasons why I don't like the fundamentals, right? Should be relatively hawkish for the Kiwi, but just shows you the power of the trend. Anyway, let's get into it, shall we? Hope everybody's well. I took the afternoon yesterday. I was playing golf. I knew nothing was going to set up, so I don't know if any of you are golfers, but yeah, I keep trying to break 80 to hit 79. I'm getting closer and closer. Anyway, the perks of being a full-time trader. Hi, Denise from Nick's community. Great. Okay, so before we get into it, the actual SPX, let's go through our entries because some of you are quite close here. I think the long calls, probably, there's still a long way to go, but I think the long calls may not be taking care of that. I think it's looking quite short, but we'll have to wait and see. So at the moment, I think Rohan and Etzio, sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, are very close to winning the prize, but obviously a long way to go. Anyway, let's get into it. SPX at the moment is ranging, okay? We've tagged the support zone, pushed up, tagged this resistance zone, pushed down, blah, blah, blah. It's doing the same thing. So we're getting this reaction around this area. There's a few different scenarios here. First scenario is we are obviously in a range. We get to this support zone. Remember, markets have a memory. So we get to this support zone. People remember what happened the last two times, and buy orders will come in this SPX. Support comes in again, and we possibly come back to potentially continue that range until the NFP numbers on Friday come out, because they may move the market. Sometimes it's a non-event, but maybe the market is looking for that direction, which should come in the form of NFP and unemployment. However, it certainly has looked bearish. So I was speaking to someone in Nick's community this morning, actually, who had a GJ short. Took a GJ short up here, which actually looks pretty good. So I just said be wary if you are in positions that you're buying the yen, buying the Swiss, buying the dollar when the SPX gets down here. Now, if we break below, okay, because it is potentially ready to break below. Obviously, this could be an ABC. Hey, Anthony, mate, good to see you. This could be ABC. If we do break below, you know, you could see, again, that strength continuing in that yen. Markets don't like uncertainty. There is a bit of uncertainty in the markets right now, and investors don't like it. So whether this be a double top, again, this is why there's a few things to look at, and we continue to the downside, whether it be an ABC or whether it's a range, you have to wait for confirmation. And that confirmation will obviously come in the form of a break and close is important, below this area. So at the moment, yeah, I think we get a reaction here, but your bias probably has to be to the downside. I mean, that's the trend we're in. We're in a downtrending environment. Again, you could say buyers are trying to push this up, but they're not getting any luck here, and sellers are taking control. So my bias would be that this breaks to the downside, irrespective of what's happening on Friday. Right? We've got the numbers coming out. You guys know I'm a technical trader. So it has to be to the downside. It's certainly looking bearish. And when markets fall, we know they fall quicker than they rise. So SPX, for me, bias has got to be the downside, but wait for that confirmation to break out that slight possible range. Dollar looks good. Dollar looks bullish. I did say on my report yesterday, be wary of an ABC from this area here because of what the daily chart looks like. Now, I'll zoom in here. Whether we get that or not, it looks certainly bullish right now. So if you're looking for a complex corrective, and if we're looking for the dollar to come off, it would really have to do it about now. Because if we get up to these highs, if I move this area here, if we get up to these highs, that bias probably has to go away, because this is a very bullish push on London Open. As I said, we pushed on, got to that 50% area. If you'd entered in there into the DXY, I mean, that would have been a good trade. I wouldn't mind that. On a bit of volume, on that 50%, on that support, on that uptrend. If we get up here, that bias of a possible complex corrective has kind of got to go, even though maybe it needs it on the daily. Certainly if we break and close above this area, we could be in that, I mean, pretty much perfect impulse, corrective back to that 50, continuation to the upside. So this could be kind of textbook, but waiting for that potential, that actual confirmation that we break above these highs, because a break above these highs technically says pullback is complete and we're continuing. What I would like to see for me, if we do get that for a potential trade, is something like this. I mean, you guys know what I'm looking for now. I just worry that a breakup like this isn't really healthy. You know, this price action is nice right now, but we don't want any climactics. We don't want any massive extensions in that dollar if you're taking positions there, because if you're taking a positions, the ultimate goal is you want that position to run and run and run and run and get you more profit. These extensions sometimes are a little bit worrisome coming from movements to the upside like this, but it's not there yet. So dollar is certainly right now changing your sentiment a bit that it is bullish. I mean, you go with that trend. You go with the trend until it stops. So DXY for me looks pretty good to the upside. Okay, setups. Did anybody get into this pound New Zealand? And one of the things I'll tell you, a little characteristics of the NZD is normally, I don't want to say normally, on news, you often get quite a big push, right? And then most of the time with certain currency pairs, commodities, you get a pullback after that news before potential continuation or a potential flop back. With NZD, if the NZD gets strong or gets weak on account of news, what normally happens is this. You normally get that kind of digestion period after that news has happened, whereas before you get a corrective, you actually get a little bit of digestion and this continue to move, either weaken off or strengthen during that day ahead. So this was actually not a bad setup. I was in bed, but did anybody get in on this? Because you technically could have. I know this was on news, so it wouldn't have been like, it wouldn't have been my most confident entry, and certainly over Asia, not my most confident entry, but that is a good setup there. Notice how we got a cup with handle, nice pullback back to the 20, and a decent push on. So I'm not sure if anybody got in on that. I think it's probably too far gone for a retest, but I'll keep it there. We'll wait and see. And if you did get in on it, it might be a decent trade, because you're thinking now, if this daily closes roughly as it is, you're originally thinking short, but you know, roughly at that breaking through possibly this resistance area, this could be a decent trade to the downside, especially if that SPX comes off. So this is why I like waiting for the market's reaction to the news rather than the news itself, because on the news, on this bar, look at that, massive spike to the downside, immediately rejected, and off we go. That is difficult to trade. Difficult to trade. So waiting for that market's reaction is for me much better than trying to play that news event, essentially. Hey, Mohammed, mate, how you doing? Okay, Swiss yen. Swiss yen, let's see if this is okay. I got a feeling this may be coming off a little bit, yeah. So I was looking at a cup with handle here on the Swiss yen, but this has failed at this area, broken through this anchor, so we've got to take that off. Now, there is an argument for a 4-hour V reversal here, coming back something like this for a breakout to the upside. But in terms of a breakout retest, obviously this is now gone on Swiss yen, so I don't need to chat about that. US 30, I feel, has come off as well, looking at the SPX. It's not out of the realms yet. I was looking at a potential head and shoulders here. If we do get a right shoulder and a push up, we'd probably need another reload to break out, retest, and move to the upside on that US 30. But that was a counter trend idea, and if stocks come off, we obviously won't get the trade. And this is important to know. If any of you new are joining from Nick's community, I put my watch list up there. You know, I'm just but just because I'm putting my watch list and pairs on my watch list, it doesn't mean I'm actually taking a trade in them. It's very important. I know some of you might be new, not know how I trade, but just because they're on my watch list, it doesn't mean I'm trading them. USD SEC. USD SEC, again, another one that I kind of thought had gone, but look at the power of this. Now, with this one is interesting because this is not an A-class context. Okay, we can see it's a nice cup with handle, a few bars of accumulation. Yeah, I'll look at that, mate. Do you? A few bars of accumulation above all those moving averages, okay? But the best thing about this USD SEC, and this is where using these types of patterns to your advantage, again, I'm not in it, but potentially you can start to use these ideas to take your own trades, is look what we're getting here, right? So before it moved, it looked as if we were getting a potential cup with handle, but certainly increasing pressure into that area. You look at the 4 hour. What do we see on the 4 hour? Impulse to the upside, a really nice corrective. And what else do we see at the bottom? Let's see if you guys can see this. What do you see at the bottom of that corrective on USD SEC? It's there. It's a little bit difficult to see, but it is there. Anybody spot it? A potential trend change pattern? It is there, above the MA. Yeah, it was above the MA, Ezio. It was above the MA, but that's not the pattern that I'm looking at. But yeah, that is good. I mean, if you look at the 20 MA, you can see that it's starting to curl up as well. So using that MA as your kind of visual guide of trend, you're seeing that, okay, we're starting to curl up here. That's not obviously not a bad sign. AB shallow C, not really. You could say your ABC was here. What I'm looking at is a head and shoulders. Here we go. Look at that. Left shoulder here. Head, right shoulder. So in terms of this pullback, this is around the 40-60 box. Okay. It's a nice pullback. You look at this price action. That's exactly what you want to see in a pullback. A bit of volume coming in the bottom. And not only that, you're getting volume coming in here. And you've got your head and shoulders. And you've got your break above that area, which was this area here. So, no worries, mate. So you can see the power of, even though the context wasn't great, you can see the power of having higher time frame confluence with your trades. And again, disclaimer, I'm not in it, but I'm just here to show you what may work and what you may like. So spotting little things like this, and I don't know whether that's, I can just see it off the bat but yeah, I immediately saw that and I definitely liked it. So USD SEC, unfortunately, I'm not in again. Nothing's retesting for me. Aussie yen. Aussie yen is another one that I do like, probably coming off a little bit, but this is okay. So we got our big V reversal here, nice complex, push up to that area. So push up to these highs, getting a reaction with the SPX falling off. However, same with USD Mexican. Okay, I'll have a look at that, mate. Yeah, I presume USD pairs, if you bought them this morning, then they'll be doing well. But we've got an anchor here. So if we don't break underneath it, we can just continue watching this pattern. So it's still on. It's still okay. You know, we have to think, okay, this is the last 8 hours in a pattern that's been constructing for weeks. So as long as we don't break below here, this is still fine for a potential break to the upside on Aussie yen. And obviously, if the stocks fall, the yen will get weaker. If the stocks rise, you'd expect the Aussie to come back up. And even though our bias is to the downside, we don't know what's going to happen in the future. Silver against the euro. So there's another one that I like. So silver against the euro is ready. But anybody, here we do. We'll do another little Q&A here. Anybody know what the problem with this one is? So what's the problem with this 4 hour? So this is nice. You could technically put your breakout order in here. I mean, if you wanted to. I wouldn't do that yet. But what's the problem with this one? What have we got against our one-to-one risk-reward area? It is counter-trend as well. Right? It is counter-trend. But what is stopping us from taking that trade? Yeah, exactly. 200. You know, an area of dynamic resistance to price and probably the most powerful. So what we're looking for, yeah, it's right, but it's okay because if you consider where we're coming from, it's all right if we do this because it could turn into that, right? So we could get our smaller head and shoulders which we're hoping our breakout zone, it probably won't look like this, but something like this, where our breakout is above that 200. So if we have the breakout above the 200, we have that extra protection for our trade in terms of that dynamic support to price. So this is okay, considering where we're going from. Now, if this comes back and just goes like this, obviously we don't get in, because we know the most important area of the breakout is just before. But if it gives us this, then as a context as a whole, this is still good. Again, you can look at it like that. So that's what we're looking for. So yeah, I need a little bit more on silver against the euro, but it looks quite nice. Looks quite nice. Aussie CAD. Aussie CAD. Greetings, Keith. How you doing, mate? Have you analyzed Euro USD yet? I'll do that after. So I'll do USD Mexican and Euro USD once I'm done with my pairs, mate. Aussie CAD was one that I was kind of giving or take on whether I should take. I was kind of umming and ahhing, but I didn't take the breakout. Again, head and shoulders here on Aussie CAD. Sorry, here, right shoulder. Tagged the area a few times. It was almost there. If I'd gotten 2 bars underneath this area with that 20 period catch up, I probably would have taken it as a break. Now, I don't mind if you're taking that as a break. It makes sense with you as long as your stop's above here. But for me, after this break, I need a retest of this area to continue to the downside on Aussie CAD. So we're going with the trend on this. Aussie's weakening off. It's not massively extended on the daily. Again, we are going with that trend. I just wanted a little bit more here for me to be able to take a breakout. But that doesn't mean that I can't take a breakout retest. So on this 4-hour chart, I would actually like it a little bit better for a retest of this area before continuation to the downside. So just going with the trend on that. Doesn't look too bad. It doesn't look too bad. Unfortunately, broke before I wanted to get in on it. USD SEC I've done. Silver, Aussie CAD I've done. Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar I think is coming off now. Yeah, unless it turns into a larger head and shoulders. See, I was hopeful this morning. Had a lot of pairs on my watch list thinking, right, I'm definitely going to get one. But it doesn't seem to be the way. If this was turning into a complex corrective, but this price action right now is certainly bullish, bearish. So I'm going to have to take that off. I'm not even going to bother analyzing that. That is gone. And USD Hong Kong dollar is the last one. USD Hong Kong dollar. And then I'll go into USD Mexican and Euro USD. So USD Hong Kong dollar. Now this I do like. Again, we remember our setups from USD SEC and Aussie yen. We've got our basing structure here. We did break through, but after the breakthrough, we've got our A, B, C. So B wave is where I can take breaks from. If we come up and give us something like this, take this breakout to the upside, 100% I take that. So breaks of B wave's good. I know we had a slight fake out here to the upside. Again, that's why you don't take breaks like this. But we've kind of freshened up a little bit. And a break of B wave, for me, would be nice. Daily looks good. Come from a push here. Change trend. Nice pullback to the 20. These channel breaks, again, if we pull back and we have a channel break like this, the ones that I like the best kind of break out, range for a little bit, and then go. So this is what we're getting here. We're slightly breaking out, but we're ranging slightly. Again, letting that 20 catch up for continuation potentially to the upside. So break of B wave for me here would be really nice. We just have to get a nice context. The 20 period is not too far away. So that's quite nice as well. But USD Hong Kong dollar, I do really like. Just have to wait, be patient for the setup. Do you only take breaks on a strong candle pattern? No. Do I only take breaks on a strong candle pattern? No, because there's no... What I'm mainly looking at here, Ezio, is the context, right? So if I'm getting what I want to see, for example, this, A, B, C, I don't need a candle pattern here. The only time... I mean, it adds confluence, right? So if we've got our A, B, C here, and we've got our hammer bar, okay? Remember, we're coming from this uptrend. That's another thing that adds confluence, right? So we've got our hammer bar, also on a bit of volume, thinking, right, we'll push up. Very similar with Aussie yen and USD SEC. So if you look at Aussie yen, when we were looking at it quite some time ago, here, right, you've got it there. Okay, push up. I know you can say, well, that's just a push and a pullback, but there you got a bit of volume coming in. Considering the structure, the whole structure coming from this uptrend, it helps. Now, as a breakout, so if we go back to this USD Hong Kong dollar. Hey, profitable trader. How you doing, mate? I'm good, thank you. I'm good, thank you. Good to see you. So if you look at this, I don't need any candlestick patterns underneath the area now. All I need is a potential slight reload, i.e. that market structure or accumulation underneath this level, just letting that 20 catch up. Now this for me is golden. It's so simple. A 20, I mean it is, that's what it is. It's a 20 simple, but it makes such a difference to breakout trading. 20 simple, or if you want to use a 21 EMA, whatever you kind of like. It's just about getting in at the right time, you know? Look here, pull back to the 20, 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 pull back to the 20. You know, so I don't need a candlestick pattern. It helps. So also, as Ezio, I keep saying your name wrong, Ezio, if I get, let's say, for example, we get a slight corrective here, okay? Corrective, push on, we get accumulation. And then I get a bar, a bullish bar that closes just prior to the area, Marabuzo candle. This is a really good sign. Certainly if it comes on high volume. You know, you get that, you take that breakout all day. That's what I found works pretty well with these accumulation periods, or even if it's a hammer bar, right? You get the 20 coming here, let's say. Okay, we get a slight reload, get a hammer bar on that 20 on high volume, a morning star, something like this. It just adds a little bit of confidence because that's, you know, I didn't make up engulfers and hammers, you know, morning star patterns, but they work for a reason, you know, they work for a reason. Look at this here, and if you add the context in, it just really adds to your breakout trading. So for my breakout retest, yeah, I look for a pattern on the retest. But in terms of breakout, as long as I get that structure, I'm okay. But candles and candlestick patterns, yeah, definitely add a bit of confidence and a bit of confidence in that breakout trade, if that makes sense. Good question, though. Good question. Okay, let's look at Euro USD first, and then I'll look at USD Mexican, Rohan. Euro USD, if you want me to look at anything, let me know. Euro USD looks bearish. I mean, it looks bearish, right? Certainly. Slight pullback on the daily. I don't really want to call a stop in this downtrend, to be honest with you. I'd rather just play it. You know, you play that. If you've been playing this for a while to the downside, you've been profiting for sure. I mean, that's a trend trader's kind of paradise. Impulse, there we go, corrective, impulse. If you've taken that break below, then yeah, Euro, I mean, it has to be short. You've now broken under this area here. You've now broken this area here, and you've broken and closed on a bit of volume on London Open. The DXY is looking strong. You know, certainly if you get a break above those highs in the DXY, yeah, it's got to be short, right? It's got to be short. Who asked me that? Sorry, Euro USD. Keith. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Short. Short. You could get if you break out, you could get a retest of this area, but yeah, my bias would be short for sure. It's short until it's not. The trend is your friend until the bend at the end. Hey Ryan, what setting do you use for your moving averages? I just use a 20 and a 200. So a simple 20 and a simple 200. This red is a 20. This purple is a 200, and I use volume. That's the only indicators that I personally use. Short on Euro USD, yeah, good. Continue it. You play it until, I mean, yeah, would I consider locking in profits if you've got a longer term trade? Then yeah, stop loss here. If you're a little bit of a shorter term trade, you know, at the moment, yeah, I mean, my stop would be here, potentially above that breakout zone, looking for a swing to continue to the downside. So if you do that, you know, for example, from here, if you're in short, you'd be looking for that swing, move your stop, looking for that swing, move your stop, looking for that swing, move your stop. In my opinion, that is where you make a lot of money, you know? You make a lot of money. I know you have to have the patience to do that, and you have to have the patience to wait for these big runners, because this doesn't often happen a lot. You guys know that, I know that. There'll be a couple of times it comes per year, but wow, you know, you get 10% plus per trades, right? And so you think about, you get 3 or 4 a year. That's 30, 40% on 3 or 4 trades, you know? But you have to have the patience to let it run. Anyway, EU, yeah, I like. USD Mexican, I'll do USD Mexican for Rohan. I just need to get trading view up because it's not on my my charts. You like that USD Mexican, don't you, Rohan? You've had a few trades in there. Euro AUD and gold. Oh yeah, I mean that looks good, Rohan, as well. Look, I mean look here. This is why I like B wave. Okay, this is why I know you can call this. I mean, it's not the nicest AB shallow C, but it's certainly a downtrend anchor from this impulse. That's essentially what B wave is. It's that anchor to your intraday downtrend, or again, you think about Dow theory, your secondary trend within that primary trend, and you often get a good reaction like this, like we've seen on USD SEC. So yeah, just be you got to take a little bit of profits, I think. Let's look at the daily. I mean, maybe you look at this area to take some profits, Rohan. I know that's not the best line, but yeah, looks good, mate. I would just keep locking in that profit, and you should be on to a nice trade. Is the 20 SMA more useful for scalp traders than swing traders? Is a 20 SMA more useful? I'd say it's more useful for swing traders. Scalpers, you might want a faster moving average, but I think the 20 SMA is good for most things, to be honest. Because if we go down, let's go down to a scalping chart, right? Let's see if this works. Let's go to the Euro, the Kiwi, whatever. On this 5 minute. Zoom out. I mean, look here, right? So look here. Look at that. Back to the 20, back to around the 20. Yeah, okay, be the same for around the 21 EMA, roughly account that. But I think a 20 period is good for trend. Certainly that. Again, here, back to the 20, back to the 20, back to the 20. Here, obviously not. This is going out with it. This is a massive drop. And actually, in terms of a scalp, now I don't normally scalp, but sometimes I go in. That's not bad, right? That's not bad in terms of scalp. Going with trend. Break out to this zone, stop underneath. You would have been happy with that one. Just this period of accumulation, but you take this from here. There's your pattern, cut with handle. You've got your hammer bar, Ezio. So there, I don't know if you, can you guys see that well? You've got your hammer bar here. Again, if I hadn't told you this was a 5 minute chart, you wouldn't have known, right? The hammer bar here, which is this coming on volume? Look, and it's coming on a little bit of increased volume. Okay, you got a decent move down. You got your accumulation, few bars underneath. That's exactly it. Like if you didn't know this is a 5 minute chart, you wouldn't know. That's what you're looking for, just here. And look at the power it has. So yeah, I like the 20 basically. Ruvan, RTA question, please. Yeah, of course, mate. Ask away. EA, okay, EA gold and pound Aussie. I'll do EA gold and pound Aussie. Gold sell, you're welcome. Gold sell, you're welcome. Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right. Yeah, see how it's, I mean, I keep going on about it, but it's failing there roughly around the 20. Maybe you're getting a slight, this is gold, by the way. Maybe you're getting slight head and shoulders, a break underneath this area. Because bearing in mind, with these trend lines, they're not always hit to an exact amount. I did think it looked quite bullish last week, so you know, I'm not going to sit here and say I know everything, because I certainly don't. Far from it. But you know, it certainly looks bearish now. You just look at that. You can put a line chart on it. You can see the pattern a bit clearer there. So a break, it's broken underneath that neckline. If we get a break back below this trend line, yeah, I agree with your sell bias. Daily looks sell. It's just possibly a pullback because we are in that downtrend. So yeah, I agree. Gold sell. EA. Euro Aussie. EA. So we had a slight fake out to the downside. Again, I'll say, I don't know how many times, this is why we don't take breaks like this. Aussie's obviously weakening off. I think my first reaction to EA would be look for, maybe it's already done it, but look for potential stop locations, because that's the essence of a fake out, in my personal opinion, is look for those stop locations as your initial targets if you're going long. But we'll have to remember the path of least resistance, the trend is still down. So we could be, sellers getting trapped in here. We come back up for, another reload before continuing to the downside. So on the daily, we're looking quite short. Yeah, we're looking quite short on the daily. I know I'm not going to get so worried about what we're doing over the past few hours, but you have to take this as a longer confidence. But, I mean, if we take this from here, look at this. Again, simple stuff. This could actually be I might add this to my watch list. Who asked me about EA? Alan. I don't know if you're looking short or long, but, maybe there's a potential breakout to the downside there on EA. Certainly, I mean, you expect the stock market to eventually come back up. That's traditionally what's happened, right? And in which case, if it does, you expect that Aussie to gain some strength. And if we have our little corrective, and then the stock market starts to get, maybe they get a catalyst on Friday from the NFP, etc., you'd expect the Aussie to benefit from that. And certainly, I know I don't know if there's anyone Aussie in here. Is there any Aussies in here? You'd expect, I think they were saying that this is the last month of lockdown. I know lockdown will have a kind of little bit of prolonged effect, but yeah, EA potential to the downside from a technical aspect. Just watch for a potential intraday move to the upside. But you're getting some reactions here as well on the smaller time frames. So maybe, I mean, you probably expect a little reaction here intraday. Again, something like this wouldn't be too bad, personally. Denise? No, sorry, Alan. Do you know OctaFX, the broker? No, I don't. I don't, mate. The only brokers that I can give you an opinion on would be Blueberry Markets and IC Markets. And I think IC Markets are better than Blueberry. I'm currently in a trading competition rank 350 out of 29,000 traders. Bloody hell, well done, mate. Any tips for not losing my position and still climb the leaderboards? Any tips? Any tips? Just, well, I mean, do you need any tips? You seem to be doing pretty well. If you're 350 out of 29,000, you don't need any tips from me, mate. Keep doing what you're doing. Are you winning anything? Do you win anything for winning the competition? I have heard of OctaFX, but I couldn't give you any opinions on it, to be honest with you. Okay, sorry, what was the last one? Pound Aussie. Okay, let's look at Pound Aussie. I think I was looking at Pound Aussie recently as well. Yeah, Ruvan, just, keep doing what you're doing, pal. Seems all right. Okay, Pound Aussie. Also, with these Aussie pairs, if we go back to the SPX, right, and we do get that ranging action back up to these highs, if we do, I'm not saying we will or we won't, but if we do, then the Aussie could come into a bit of strength within these sections. So let's have a look at Pound Aussie. Top 5 Finners win $4,500. $4,500. You mean $500 or $40,500? Oh well done. I didn't know that. Sorry, what was I looking at? Pound Aussie. Excuse me, guys. Pound Aussie, 4-hour decent hammer here. 4-hour decent hammer. Could see some bearish price action. Slight fake out to the upside, but we are in the intraday uptrend. It's I mean, I like the idea of buying the Pound Aussie. To be honest, Denise, is it Denise? Yeah, I like the idea of buying the Pound Aussie. You'd have to wait a little bit now, I think. There's no major confluence or context there for me to buy it right now. Certainly not after you're getting this reaction, but we are above these moving average in the smaller time frame. Maybe this is an AB shallow C, possibly. I mean, that's not confirmed on the daily chart until I break above. I would have to sit on the fence with that. I would honestly have to sit on the fence with that, because there's nothing there that I can probably confidently want to tell you of what I think. Maybe if we did this, that looks a little bit better, right? But for me, in terms of price action, I wouldn't be confident in telling Denise, because it's really in between. I mean, we're in between these moving averages. We're at the point on this daily where it could go either way. We're at that 20 period here. We've got a hammer bar. We've got a fake out, but we are an intraday uptrend. I don't have a bias. I normally have a bias, but I don't have a bias on pound Aussie, Denise. I know you're quite into the pound Aussie, right? It does move quite well. Already taken out. Sorry, I'm just reading through your message. Already taken out 60%. Oh, good. Yeah, let it run. Let it run, Rohan. Yeah, your 20 works. Yeah, it does. It does. I didn't get the 20. It wasn't me. It was my mentor that helped me with that 20 period. Like using everything else and then end up with a simple 20. Simple 20, simple 200. Ezio, use IC. Yeah, I used to use IC. I like them. They were the best of the bunch, I think. FTMO, for me, FTMO is by far the best. Even with IC, I had one or two instances where I'm like, that doesn't seem right, you know, when you don't think you should have been stopped out and possibly you're stopped out, and they give you the same excuse, right? Oh, it's not us, it's the brokerage. You know, it's on market opening. We can't control the spreads on market opening. But I can't think of one instance with FTMO that I've ever thought something's not right there. Not even one. And you know, the reason why I like them, I know you have to be a funded account trader first, but the reason why I like them is, you know, they're on your side because they want you to make money, right? They make money from us making money as traders, the whole kind of FTMO network as traders. So they're going with you. Whereas some of these brokers, not saying IC, you know, the regulated ones, okay, but there's always some little instances when you're like, that doesn't really add up, you know? Anyway. Top five, I've made 200% ROI so far, and the number one guy has 20,000 ROI. Jesus. Well, obviously it's a competition, right? So you can kind of go for it, really. So if you get a little bit ahead, but 200% is amazing, mate. 200% is amazing. But yeah, I suppose you're in terms of a competition, it's a little bit different, is it? Because if you make 20,000%, then you can lose 100% in a day, right? That's the biggest thing, or that's the biggest problem with competition trading, I guess, to real trading. But 200%, well done. That's, I mean, I wouldn't even try to. I mean, how do you make 20,000%? I wouldn't even know how that happens. I wouldn't even know how that happens. Anyway. All right, guys. I appreciate you being here. I'll head off now. If you like the stream, like the video. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Thank you for everybody new that has subscribed. I'm on 422 now, which is great. Getting close to the half a bag, which would be nice. And then obviously the main target is 1,000 subs. But no, I really do appreciate you all. I enjoy coming back here, seeing all the normal guys. It's great. And let's see who wins on Friday, right? It's not going to be me. Rohan, Ezio, and who are the front runners? I think it's either going to be, I have a feeling it'll either be Ezio, Rohan, Mohammed, or Don. I think the short positions will probably win it. Anyway, just a bit of fun, right? Yeah. All right, guys, appreciate it. Trade safe. Peace.